why have so many different hooks? Well, I can tell you that hooks have gotten really specialized because so have our plastics. You know, we've got so many different shapes and sizes that now we got hooks to match each application. And that's really good because in the end, that's what you want to have, is the perfect hook for each bait that you throw. You know, hook technology has come a long ways. Nowadays, every hook that you buy is chemically sharpened, it's got a black nickel finish on it, so it's very slick, and they're designed for different types of plastics. What you really want to look at is the plastic that you want to fish with, and pick a hook style that fits the length and the thickness for that bait. So for instance, on a really big bulky creature bait, you got to have a wide gap hook, and typically you're throwing it with bigger diameter line, so you want a hook that's stronger also. You know, on a small finesse bait, you want to use a smaller hook, something that's thinner. You want to have the gap match the plastic that you're fishing with. Here's a few specialty hooks for certain soft plastic baits. You know, right here to start with, you know, swim baits are a big category. Nowadays, we've got a lot of hooks that have screw lock keepers and belly weights to help balance that swim bait out. You know, frogs and toads, they're big, bulky baits, and usually you're throwing them on heavy line, so a hook that has a keeper to keep it from sliding down and that is real strong is important. You know, soft plastic jerk baits, a hook like this Ultra Lock that has a Z-style bend really works well, because when you're twitching it and jerking it along, it's not sliding down the shank. You know, a finesse worm, you need a smaller hook. You need something smaller diameter, so a standard straight shank is very good for one of those. You know, you don't have a lot going on there, you're not fishing it in heavy cover, it's not as important. You know, tubes and creature baits, they're more compact, so you need something that's stout and short, you know, where you're throwing them into heavy cover. It's important to have a good wide gap hook that's strong, that has some type of keeper on it to keep those baits from sliding down when you're fishing them in that heavy cover. So you want to use the specialized hook for the situation. So the next time that you walk down the hook aisle, don't get intimidated, you know, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because there is the perfect hook for every plastic bait in your tackle box.